Joseph Stalin, the Georgian cobbler's son who became history's most efficient killing machine administrator, Stalin perfected bureaucratic terror with a paranoid's attention to detail. His death toll remains debated, but ranges conservatively from 6 to 20 million through executions, famines, and labor camps, not counting W2 casualties. His signature method was the Great Purge, 1936 to 1938, where he used the NKVD to eliminate perceived rivals through night and fog operations. Victims disappeared at midnight, given sham trials at 4 a.m., and were shot in basements like Moscow's Lubyanka prison, their bodies dumped in mass graves. The Gulag system enslaved millions in Arctic camps, where prisoners froze while digging canals with bare hands or mining uranium without protection. His engineered Holodomor famine, 1932 to 1933, killed 3.9 to 7.5 million Ukrainians, as Stalin confiscated all grain, sealed republic borders, and decreed collectivization while eating lavish dinners. His cruelty was methodical. He personally signed execution lists containing 40,000 names, demanded video recordings of show trials, and invented kulak classifications to justify exterminating peasant families. During World War II, Order Number 270 declared any surrendering soldier a traitor, resulting in 158,000 Soviet troops executed by their own side. His paranoia created a unique execution style. The prisoners' convoy, where victims were forced to lie face down in trucks before being shot downward through the floorboards. Stalin died amid preparations for a new purge targeting doctors, leaving a system so terrorized that Politburo members feared to check his pulse. Adolf Hitler, the failed artist who weaponized resentment into apocalyptic genocide. Hitler combined medieval cruelty with industrial innovation, responsible for 12 to 20 million systematic murders, including 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. His regime pioneered assembly line killing. The Einsatzgruppen and death squads followed his armies, shooting 1.3 million Jews in ditches, a method Hitler found too stressful for his troops, leading to gas fans in chambers. His T4 program murdered 70,000 disabled Germans using carbon monoxide in fake shower rooms, later scaling the technology to Auschwitz. Hitler personally designed torture methods. Night and fog decree, prisoners vanished without trace. Kugel Erlass, ordered prisoners shot through the neck. Political enemies endured Blood Eagle-inspired hangings from meat hooks. His Lebensborn program kidnapped 200,000 Aryan-looking children for Germanization, while Nacht der Langen Messer saw rivals executed with hunting knives. Hitler's insanity included vegetarianism, while overseeing slaughter, amphetamine addiction causing trembling hands, and architecturally planning Germania, a capital built by slave bones. His final Nero decree demanded Germany's destruction rather than surrender, showing his ultimate philosophy: if you couldn't rule, existence itself should burn. The Holocaust by bullets in Eastern Europe left ravines like Baby Yar choked with bodies, while his hunger plan deliberately starved 4.2 million Soviets. Hitler's legacy is the blueprint for how modern bureaucracy can be harnessed for primal barbarism. Idi Amin Dada, the 340-pound former cook who declared himself His Excellency, President for Life, Field Marshal Al-Haji, Dr. Idi Amin, VC, DSO, MC, Lord of all the beasts of the earth and fishes of the sea, killed 300,000 to 500,000 Ugandans through creativity rivaling Shakespearean horror. A state research bureau operated death cells, where prisoners were bled daily for Amin's supposed blood transfusions, while others were fed to crocodiles at his private island. He kept severed heads in his refrigerator, forcing ministers to hold conversations with them. His killing competitions between security units awarded prizes for highest body counts, with victims often dismembered with panga machetes and parts mailed to families. Amin personally participated. He reportedly ate human flesh, tortured Archbishop Janani Luum before murdering him, and dumped bodies in the Nile River so frequently that hydroelectric dams clogged with corpses. His economic policies included expelling 80,000 Asians to give Uganda back to Africans, then confiscating their property while the nation starved. He telegrammed to Hitler congratulating him on the Holocaust, declared himself King of Scotland, and went to war with Tanzania while wearing a Scottish kilt over his military uniform. His 8-year reign collapsed when he fled with 4 wives and 30 mistresses, leaving torture chambers containing blood ceilings where victims had been suspended upside down. Francisco Macias Nwama, Africa's most psychotic ruler, turned his country into a death camp while worshipping his own divinity. This former Spanish clerk killed 50,000 to 80,000 of his 300,000 subjects through rituals blending Catholicism with animist terror. He banned the word intellectual, executed anyone wearing glasses, and closed all schools except his popular university, where subjects memorized his speeches. His execution methods included the dance, forcing families to dance around freshly dug graves before shooting them, the perfume, dousing victims in gasoline and burning them alive, and the bell, hanging 150 prisoners from a mechanical carry-on that rang with each death convulsion. He stored national treasury funds in his rural hut, causing the economy to collapse, while he performed black magic ceremonies wearing a Napoleonic bicorn hat. His paranoia led to banning fishing boats could escape, and medicine doctors were plotters, resulting in mass starvation. During his final years, he communicated only through a 12-year-old witch and stored 200 female skeletons in his bedroom for protection. When finally overthrown, soldiers found mass graves containing families buried alive and a presidential palace where his niece served as both executioner and harem mistress. The World Bank declared his regime had achieved 0% literacy, the only nation to reverse all educational progress, before he was tried by the same people he terrorized and executed by a Moroccan firing squad he'd hired personally. Pol Pot, the Paris-educated teacher who engineered history's fastest self-genocide, killing 1.7 to 2.5 million Cambodians, 25% of the population, in pursuit of Year Zero agrarian utopia. His Khmer Rouge emptied cities at gunpoint, forcing millions into collective farms where old people, anyone over 25, were systematically eliminated. Execution methods reflected peasant brutality. Plastic bags over heads saved bullets, hoe handles to crush skulls, and babies swung against killing trees at the infamous Chong Ek killing fields. His Tuol Sleng prison, 721, perfected Maoist interrogation. 17,000 prisoners were photographed before having their fingernails pulled out with pliers, being waterboarded with human waste, and finally bled to death while doctors recorded vitals. Pol Pot's ideology banned medicine, declaring malaria capitalist sickness, money, and relationships. Even eye contact between couples meant death. His 4-year plan demanded 3 tons of rice per hectare while providing no tools, causing mass starvation as people ate rats and bark. The regime executed people for speaking foreign languages, wearing glasses, or crying for dead relatives. His final insanity saw him purge 10,000 of his own troops for CIA sympathies while Vietnam invaded. He died under house arrest in 1998, never tried, having succeeded in creating the only modern society to abolish childhood. Children served as soldiers and executioners in his Ankar organization. Kim Il-sung, the partisan fighter who built the world's first communist dynasty, through manufactured divinity, killing 1.6 to 2 million through political purges and engineered famines. His Samban caste system divided society into 51 hereditary ranks, with hostile class members sent to mountain valley gulags like Camp 22, where 3-generation punishment meant entire families disappeared. Execution methods included public stadium blowtorch burnings, hunger cages, where relatives watched prisoners starve, and zinc mine forced labor, where victims inhaled toxic dust until lungs crystallized. His 10 principles demanded worship rivaling Jesus, citizens bowed to his statues, wore Kim Jong-il badges over their hearts, and celebrated his Day of the Sun birthday as holy. The 1990s, arduous march. Famine killed 600,000, while he stockpiled rice for military parades and built underground palaces with imported cognac. His cruelty included kidnapping 200,000 foreigners, including Japanese, for language teachers, mandatory abortions for pregnant repatriates, and spy children programs, where orphans were trained as assassins. He created ghost schools, where children studied empty desks representing class traitors, and his propaganda claimed he invented rice and could control weather. His legacy lives through prison hotels, where foreign visitors unknowingly sleep above torture chambers, and a military-first policy that feeds soldiers while citizens eat grass, proving manufactured divinity requires endless human sacrifice. Leopold II of Belgium, the velvet-gloved monster who turned rubber extraction into private genocide, killing 8 to 10 million Congolese, 50% of population, through corporate terror. His Free State was a shareholder's paradise, where severed hands became currency. Soldiers had to present right hands for each bullet used, leading to hand collections where villages were raided for quotas. The Force Publique enforced rubber quotas by whipping victims with hippopotamus hide shakot, burning resistors alive, and imprisoning women to force men into forests. Children's hands were smoked for preservation during transport. One missionary described baskets of hands being presented to officers. Leopold's innovation was industrial-scale mutilation. Villages that missed quotas had all inhabitants' hands severed, creating the living dead communities. He built his Brussels arcades with rubber profits, while Congo's population halved from 20 to 10 million. His red rubber system used chain gangs to portage ivory until spines snapped, and hostage houses where families starved while fathers worked. When photographer missionaries exposed the horror, Leopold destroyed archives and bribed the U.S. Senate. His only punishment was losing his private colony. He died rich, never trying the congestion prisons, where prisoners were packed so tightly they suffocated standing up. The Congo River ran red with bodies for 23 years, proving genocide could be conducted as shareholder dividend. Rafael Trujillo, the goat who turned a Caribbean nation into his psychosexual playground, killing 50,000 to 80,000 while obsessing over whiteness and virginity. His Parsley Massacre, 1997, saw 20,000 Haitians murdered at border checkpoints, where soldiers held parsley perigil. Those who couldn't roll the R were shot. He built an obelisco phallic monument to his potency, while maintaining the 42, a rotating harem of teenage virgins delivered by mayors. His torture chambers featured the helicopter victims spun until organs separated and the crab iron maiden filled with sea crabs. Trujillo's vanity included dyeing his skin white, wearing platform shoes to appear taller, and changing military ranks daily so he'd always be highest. He renamed the capital Ciudad Trujillo and mountains after himself, while his secret police castrated rivals and delivered testicles in jewelry boxes. The 1946 kidnapping of Galindez saw a Columbia University professor drugged, flown to Dominican Republic, and fed to sharks. Trujillo later murdered the pilot too. His economic policies created the sugar famine, where he controlled all sugar while children starved. When he was finally assassinated in 1961, citizens dragged his corpse through streets and shot it 27 times, one bullet for each year of terror. His legacy includes the missing generation of intellectuals and the 3 brave sisters he had murdered for opposing him. Their bodies never found, weighted with railroad ties in the Caribbean Sea. Saddam Hussein, the butcher of Baghdad, who blended Stalinist purges with Babylonian theaters, killing 300,000 to 1 million through family-centric terror. His Qadisiyya Saddam campaign against Kurds featured chemical weapon attacks like Halabja, 5,000 killed in minutes, and Arabization, where Kurdish villages were replaced with desert prisons. His signature execution method was the presidential cutting, personally shooting ministers during cabinet meetings, while his sons Uday and Qusay ran the rape rooms where fathers watched daughters assaulted. The 1991 Shia uprising saw mass graves filled by bulldozers, with human shredders, industrial wood chippers processing dissidents. Saddam's Quran, written in his blood, 24 letters drawn over years, symbolized his claimed divinity, while his victory arch hands held swords dripping with Iranian blood. He built palaces over ancient ruins while imposing UN sanctions starved 500,000 children. His response: the price is worth it. His Muqaddarat intelligence used the fiancé, releasing prisoners for weddings before executing whole families at celebrations. Captured videos show him torturing with electric drills while reciting poetry. At trial, he justified the Trujillo massacre, 148 executed as cleansing. His hanging was botched. The noose tore his head partially off, proving even his death reflected the chaos he cultivated. Mobutu Sese Seko, the leopard hat-wearing kleptocrat who turned corruption into state ideology, killing 100,000, 500,000 while building the Swiss economy in Africa. His authenticity. Campaign banned Western clothes while he wore $10,000 silk scarves and built Gabalat, a jungle Versailles with Concord runway. His Salongo forced labor killed thousands, building useless projects, while his political greeting required subjects to bow while he poked them with gem-encrusted walking sticks. Mobutu's execution methods included leopard death victims sewn into leopard skins so animals would attack, river disappearances in crocodile-infested waters, and diamond mine burials where dissidents were thrown into deep pits. He stole $15 billion, equivalent to national debt, while hospitals lacked aspirin. His Operation Virus targeted intellectuals with AIDS-tainted injections, and his Kamwina Naspru militia recruited child soldiers fed cannibal rituals. During the Zionization economic collapse, he airlifted champagne and pheasant from Paris, while inflation reached 24,000%. When rebels finally chased him out, they found freezers full of human flesh at his palaces and torture chambers disguised as saunas. He died of prostate cancer in Morocco, having transformed Africa's richest land into a cannibalistic failed state where citizens ate zoo animals to survive. His legacy, the Mobutu dollar, worthless currency printed with his face, proving even money could be weaponized.